this week's. So this is the third reaction video out of 6 in our semester. So this week I found particularly interesting because it talks about how we can start changing an unhealthy environment in a workplace, which that's pretty important because to me, no amount of toxicity that is going on in a job or no amount of negativity is worth any amount of pay or any amount of price. Like if you're getting bullied or harassed, no amount of pay is worth it. Everyone deserves fair treatment, fair, I guess the word is equality, everything. So the speaker talks about a few causes, but there's only really, throughout the video, they all revolve around the same topic, which is backstabbing or gossip, or as he refers to it as backbiting, which is basically defined as one person, or well, for the most part, two people talking to each other about someone else, mostly negatively. So it's basically two people just talking bad about each other without the other person knowing or without the other person being around. So obviously this is not meant for the person it's being talked about to know about, and it's meant to be offensive. But what it also does is it also creates a really negative environment, which causes a lot of people to end up quitting their job or potentially even moving fields. Because when he asked his live audience in the TED Talk, roughly 90% of the people is what the statistic was in that crowd, all raised their hand to being in what they consider to be a pretty negative or pretty toxic environment of people just backstabbing each other, people talking bad about each other, just people not being nice, and it turns into this gigantic competition of who can hurt each other the worst, who can make each other feel the worst about their job, when people should be working together as teams or as individuals, depending on your company or your organization. It should be about trying to encourage each other and trying to help each other instead of trying to get each other down. I don't really get the point of that, because all it does is just create more conflict, whether it's internal or external, within oneself or within the group or within the organization. I just don't see the point of turning each other against one another. It's just not worth it in the long run, I think. So basically his advice to deal with it is to encourage your management at your job, because that was another reason I actually forgot to mention, is that management just doesn't care or isn't doing anything about the things that are being done, and it's oftentimes it's because they just don't care enough, or I guess sometimes, I feel like this one's rarer. I feel like most times they know about it, but sometimes they just don't know that it's going on. Sometimes they just don't know that others are being bullied. But I feel like for the most part, from what I've seen, it's just management not caring enough to do anything about it, which is pretty sad, because that shows that management doesn't really care that much about their employees, and it shows that like they're not really there for you, which that's not very it's not very heartwarming. It's not very good to know as an employee. It just makes you feel pretty uncomfortable. Like you can't even turn to management for help. You have to go out of your way to seek help from someone. So yeah, back to what I was saying. What he encourages is you should encourage management to take steps, whether it's like peacefully protesting or just approach them, which apparently most people are afraid to do, which is understandable, because you can lose your job if you do it in the wrong way, I think. And if it goes correctly, and you follow like a 6-month program or something, is what he talked about in his video. 6-month program, and if it's done correctly, the motivation comes back up to go to work and do your job, which when there's negativity around, obviously the motivation goes down, so you want to quit, and you're just trying to get through work. You're just trying to not have a bad day or have an average day, even. Just, you're not even shooting for a good day at that point. You're just shooting for a not bad one, which is not good. Bullying goes down, there's less negativity, and there's more positivity, which is obviously what a company is looking for, or any form of group, because no one really wants negativity in their group. The 2 questions: what stage of life do I think? For the most part, I'd say this happens with the gossiping and the backbiting. I'd say this mostly happens with the younger career employees, like in college internship. I'd say out of college, like fresh out of college, would be the primary people that would just talk bad about someone because they don't really know any better. I feel like it sometimes happens with middle age and older age, but I feel like at that point they've matured and like they know all their employees and their coworkers and their colleagues well enough to where like there isn't going to be that much backlash between them. I don't think. I don't know. I feel like that's situational. Some younger employees might be too scared to say anything. Some of them might be fearless and might say whatever they want about someone without really knowing what the consequences might or could be. Does backbiting impact me? I hope not that I'm aware of. And if it does, then what I usually try and do, I don't usually care what someone thinks about me unless it's like really, really damaging or really personal. For the most part, though, I don't really care. Like, you can think what you want, just try your best and be respectful about it. I don't really care what others think as long as you just are respectful and aren't completely rude or out of line with it. But yeah, pretty interesting video. Should be focusing on getting better work environments because some people definitely aren't. I'd say like minimum wage workers and others, or anyone even. I shouldn't say that, but anyone could be in this situation, and they should be working towards trying to improve that instead of just letting it get progressively worse until it's potentially too late. And yeah, thanks for watching. Pretty good video.